government claiming that companies make too much or have too much market share and so forth. That I have a theory that what is really going on here is that people are very envious of what is happening.
Yeah.
And that their envy is actually causing them to suggest to other people things of that nature, to make that kind of argument, to get them to be envious too.
Yeah.
To basically try to tear down what has been built. Could you
Yeah.
address that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of envy in this, simply wanting to go after somebody who's more successful than you, and there's a lot of political demagoguery, scoring of points. Politicians who don't know their economics, are more interested in getting reelected. They have to have a boogeyman out there, so they say, he's evil. Let's do something to him. So they can rally an uninformed public and score some political points. That happens all the time. Jesse Jackson has raised that to an art. He shakes down company after company, just demagoguing these issues. So yeah, a lot of it is envy, and a lot of it is demagoguery. And I think, generally speaking, in America, our standards of respect for property have fallen to the point where it doesn't take much for somebody to stake a claim on it. How many of you saw that movie Cinderella Man? If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. I want to write a little article based on a moment in that movie that really struck me. And I just thought of it because we're talking about envy and sanctity of property and what have you. If you saw it, do you remember early on when Braddock's boy steals some sausage? They're in the depth of the Depression, and the little boy's even concerned that maybe the family would have to take the kids and put them elsewhere because they can't afford to keep them. Terrible situation. The boy steals a sausage, but what does Braddock, his father, do? He doesn't try to cover up for it. He immediately, not a moment's hesitation, he takes the boy with the sausage, they go back to the butcher, and he has the boy deliver it and apologize. And then outside the butchery, he lectures the boy, and he says, "We don't steal. Doesn't matter what the circumstances, we don't steal." Do you understand that? And I thought, wow, what a powerful lesson. And even later, when Braddock himself feels compelled to go on relief for a time, what does he do at the earliest opportunity? He gives it back. He gives the money back. I don't know how many Americans would do that today. But in a day when people think that if somebody else has more, you're somehow entitled to a portion of it, there'll be lots of demagogues preying upon envy, and that's how they make their political living. And we see it all around us.
Maybe time
Yes.
for one more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
This may be another myth that you could bust with respect to Standard Oil, but I can recall a few decades ago sitting in a lecture hall and hearing one of the stories being that as competition grew for Rockefeller and oil was being carried by railroad.
Oh, he got rebates. Yes.
For first lower prices than his competitors got, and
yes.
then actually a rebate on his competitors' load.
Yeah, this has been examined too. The idea that because he was so big, he got rebates from railroads. Well, what was happening here was Rockefeller he was an incredibly shrewd bargainer. He told the railroads, if you want to ship my oil, you better cut your price. He didn't have the power to compel them, force them at gunpoint to ship at, he just squeezed as low a price out of them as he could, and he did that by telling them, I will build the loading and unloading facilities. You don't have to build that. I'll provide my own insurance. You don't have to worry about that. So slash your price. Oh, that's not low enough. You better do it even lower. And then he would often say, as time went on, he said, if you don't cut your price, I'll just build pipelines, and I'll carry my oil that way. And increasingly, he did that. He was just a shrewd bargainer with the railroads, none of whom was ever required to ship his oil. But to get his business, because it was such large volume, they gave him the best deal. So really, that charge that he got rebates, and that was somehow unfair, it's another red herring, and it's really an accusation against his competitors who either weren't shrewd enough bargainers or didn't have the wherewithal to bargain for the lowest price.
Do you know if he got rebates on
I know that that's sometimes argued that he did. I don't know the details of that, but yeah, yeah. I'm not sure about that, but I am sure that because he didn't have the power to compel a railroad to haul his stuff, he was just the shrewdest of bargainers and got the lowest price. And his empire, by the way, increasingly relied less and less on railroads and more on the pipelines that he built himself.
Aren't the railroads kind of an Alice in Wonderland world anyway, when it comes to government regulation and competition and all that?
Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ethel.
And thank you. You didn't know I had one more smart son, did you? We're looking forward to seeing you all at the luncheon, and where Larry's going to speak about public policy. And I think I ought to give him at least 20 minutes to sit down before he has to talk again.
Okay.
So, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.